A very good afternoon and welcome to your live coverage of St. Thomas's taking on Isipathana in this Dialog Schools Rugby League, the inaugural match for the Rizvi Suhaib Trophy between two titans of school rugby, St. Thomas's and of course the Green Machine, Isipathana, live from the big club grounds at St. Thomas's. I'm joined by Laksha Silva and we'll be hoping for an unforgettable encounter in this Laksha.
Good afternoon, Shanaka, and good afternoon to all of our viewers from all around the globe. This is basically a second round fixture, Shanaka. Both the teams unbeaten, and they come into the last week of round one here, and a win here will be very important for both the teams going into the next 4 weeks of the tournament.
Yes, it is really a precursor. So even though it is the final week of the first round, points from this game, Laksha, will be carried forward. We'll talk about that in a moment. But just looking at the weather forecast, what that card doesn't tell you is the crosswind blowing from those coconut trees across the ground here at the big clubs. It's about 30 degrees Celsius, but the humidity factor is something that really is pretty terrible out here, and the players are sweating buckets even before they get out on the field. So conditions are going to be another factor that both teams will have to contend with, especially the visiting team. Let's look at last week's results. We had DS Serenayake in a tight contest with Science College, although it shows so on the scoreboard. DS were in control of that game, and Sri Sumankala beating Thurston for their second win in a row in the A division. Dharmaraja College going down to probably the best performance. St. Thomas is building momentum coming into this game, and Isipathana conceded quite a few points late on in that game. That's something that both sets of coaches for today will be looking at. And Trinity College, a fairly comprehensive win against St. Joseph's. Ananda College in a really tight encounter, beating St. Anthony's, who were the favoured home team. Wesley College in a proper shutout of St. Peter's in what was a surprising result, Laksisi. Royal College in a dominant performance against Vidyartha, and Kingswood beating Mahanama comprehensively up in Bogambara. Expected Mahanama to do a bit better, but a real closing of the gap between the top schools and the others.
Exactly, Shanaka. This is something that we actually talked about before the beginning of the live broadcast. And today's fixture, 7 games coming away on Sri Lanka Samwa Sports Channel. ThePapare, Wesley taking on Ananda College, another unbeaten team at Havelock Park. Then Dharmaraja College taking on Kingswood College at Nittavela. Saira College taking on Mahanama College at Saira College down. Now that's an encounter with a lot of high stakes, because the winners will go into the plate and the losers will go to the ball. And then Trinity College taking on Royal College. We have a little rehearsal before the big one, the Bradby, and then this encounter, St. Thomas's versus Isipathana, another huge clash of the Titans encounter. And St. Peter's versus DS Serenayake. The winners will go into the cup segment. So basically a qualifier to the top segment of schools rugby this year. And then St. Joseph's versus Sri Sumangala. Now that will be an interesting clash as well, because this is basically a second round plate segment clash, Shanaka. So a lot of important games coming your way today.
Plenty at stake today on this Super Saturday that we have for you on the 5th of July here. You're on the Papare, Sri Lanka's #1 sports channel, looking out across this picturesque ground. We'll bring you a lot more when we come back from the commercial break.
එක පැත්තකින් වාගෙනදී තව පැත්තකින් මතුවෙනවා. මේ ටයිල් එක බෑ. දෙක තුනක් කැඩිලත් එක්ක.
තමරි අක්කා.
ජීවිත කාලය පුරාම අල්ලන් ඉන්න නම් ටයිල් අල්ලන්න ඕන ස්විස් ටෙක් ටයිල් ඇඩිසිව්.
ස්විස් ටෙක් ටයිල් ඇඩිසිව් අල්ලන්න හොඳම කෙනා.
Our forests come in many forms. They can be up in the hills or down in the plains, fed by the rain or sculpted by the sun. Our forests are deeply rooted in us. They are a living inspiration.
Bring that inspiration home. Lanka Tiles. Fine living. Redefined.
උස්වත්ත පවුලින් හඳුන්වා දෙන රසයක් බැයියා චර්පි චිප්ස් රිදෙන්නේ දැනෙන රස.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Hi, I'm Tarinder Rajwasa. To all the schools participating in the Schools Rugby League 2025, we wish you all the very best and good luck.
සමදා සමහන් සමදා සුවෙන්.
Commercial Bank's Power Bonus. Open an account with just 5,000 rupees and earn bonus interest every 3 months straight.
Standing fixture for the Rizvi Suhaib Trophy. Rizvi Suhaib, of course, the 1989 unbeaten captain of St. Thomas's. He started off that season of 3 unbeatens, the first of 3 unbeaten seasons for St. Thomas's, 89, 90 and 91. When they were completely unstoppable on the school stage, and of course came up against some very, very good Isipathana sides that they managed to beat. And of course, remembering Rizvi Suhaib as the turf rests gently upon him. Points table in Group 1A, we have Wesley, who are outright winners of that group. They will advance comfortably, and positions 2 and 3 up for grabs today as DS Serenayaka takes on St. Peter's. St. Peter's at home, so there will be a slight advantage for them. But Ananda College will go through into the plate competition. Science and Anthony's unfortunately going down to the bowl. Here's Group 2A, Lakshisi. That's the top clash that we're hoping for today. And the winner will advance in first place. And what's more important than that is that they get to take the points that they scored against this team into the Cup Championship. This will have a direct bearing on the league.
Exactly, Shanaka. So whether it's 5, whether it's 6, those points will be very important for both the teams going into the second round. Now, Kingswood College, that's a great sign for Sri Lanka rugby overall as well. Kingswood College being in the 3rd place, they struggled big time in the last 3 seasons. So them finding that rhythm was a very good thing for all of Sri Lanka rugby. And Saira College and Mahanama, they will play an important clash, as I mentioned earlier as well. And Dharma Raja struggling right at the bottom in this group, and they'll be hoping they can turn the tides around against Kingswood today. And in Group 3A, we have the big clash coming up today, Royal versus Trinity, the unbeaten teams. Once again, the same factor will come in there as well, whether it's 5 or 6 points, the team that wins will carry on to the next round. And Sri Sumangala College in 3rd place. Now, that's another great sight to see. Sri Sumangala got promoted last year, didn't have the best of times, but this year they have managed to put up their hands big time and perform at a very good level. And today, they'll definitely be looking forward to push St. Joseph's to the absolute limits. And Thurston getting that first win yesterday against Vidyartha, and they will take 6 points into the second round of the ball segment.
Yes, a fantastic win for Thurston yesterday, their first win in the competition, and Sri Sumangala searching for their 3rd win in a row, and it will be a huge scalp for them if they manage to get St. Joseph's today. Dithula Jayasuriya at the top of the top try scorers leaderboard with 9 tries. Minuli Addahige, both of them will be in action today at Pallakale. 17 tries between the two of them. Dinuka Pereira coming up with that as well, and Avishka Pereira 5 tries for St. Thomas's, and Kavin Jayasinghe 5 tries for Isipathana. So 2 10-try men will be, Avishka Pereira, Kavin not in the mix today because of his red card. And top point scorers, Dinesh Chamudita 59 points, Dilruwan Pereira of Science College playing a lone hand there at the other end of Mount Lavinia. Dithula Jayasuriya 45, Idris Farooq 44, and Abdul Hadi of Wesley with 42 points.
So after taking a look at the top point scorers and the try scorers, we'll once again head to a quick commercial break, and on the other side we will have the starting 15s and the kickoff of this crucial encounter between St. Thomas's College and Isipathana College. Stay tuned.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
Whose fault is this? Looks like someone didn't use Tokyo Super Seal for waterproofing. Tokyo Super Seal. Do it right the first time.
Keep sweating. Keep pushing the limits. Keep stepping up your game. Keep shining. Keep rising. No matter what your fitness goal is, we are always there by you, with you. Iodex. Get, spray, go.
Whose fault is this? Looks like someone didn't use Tokyo's Superbond for tiling. Tokyo Superbond. Do it right the first time.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
උස්වත්තු පවුලින් හඳුන්වා දෙන රසයක් බැයිය චර්පි චිප්ස් රිදෙන්නේ දැනෙන රස.
දවසම ෆ්‍රෙෂ් වෙන්න O3 Spirit and Freedom perfumed body spray.
The road is yours. German engineered tires for Sri Lankan roads. Seat car radials. The road is yours.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Love rugby.
Live rugby.
Prima Kotumi. Fun tamai.
The road is yours. German engineered tires for Sri Lankan roads. Seat car radials. The road is yours.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
වතුරත් ලීක් වෙලා. ස්ලැබ් එකත් ඉවරයි. බලන්නකො දැන් සාලේ කැත. චමරි.
ස්විස්ටෙක් ඇක්වාෂීල්ඩ් 2K waterproof දැම්මා නම් වතුර කාන්දු වෙන්නෙත් නෑ. හිතටත් නිදහස්.
ස්විස්ටෙක් ඇක්වාෂීල්ඩ් 2K waterproofer සීල් කරන්න හොඳම කෙනා.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Summer refresh when the train ekata go.
Night Go. Pocket perfume. Youth ekata go ekak.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Creamy richness redefined. Smooth, soft, spreadable. Introducing Fondre with canola and sunflower oil.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
ඉන්ජෙක්ෂන් එක. බයද? ඒවටත් බෙහෙත් අපි ළඟ තියෙනවා. ඉඳගන්න.
උස්වත්තු පවුලින් හඳුන්වා දෙන රසයක් බැයිය චර්පි චිප්ස් රිදෙන්නේ දැනෙන රස.
තව ඉන්ජෙක්ෂන් එකක් ගහමුද?
එක පැත්තකින් වාගෙනදී තව පැත්තකින් මතුවෙනවා. මේ ටයිල් එක බෑ. දෙක තුනක් කැඩිලත් එක්ක. චමරි අක්කා.
ජීවිත කාලය පුරාම අල්ලන් ඉන්න නම් ටයිල් අල්ලන්න ඕන ස්විස්ටෙක් ටයිල් ඇඩිසිව්.
ස්විස්ටෙක් ටයිල් ඇඩිසිව් අල්ලන්න හොඳම කෙනා.
Our forests come in many forms. They can be up in the hills or down in the plains, fed by the rain or sculpted by the sun. Our forests are deeply rooted in us. They are a living inspiration.
Bring that inspiration home. Lanka Tiles. Fine living. Redefined.
උස්වත්තු පවුලින් හඳුන්වා දෙන රසයක් බැයිය චර්පි චිප්ස් රිදෙන්නේ දැනෙන රස.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Hi, I'm Tarinder Rajpatra. To all the schools participating in the Schools Rugby League 2025, we wish you all the very best and good luck.
සමදා සමහන් සමදා සුවෙන්.
It's Super Saturday here on ThePapare.com. 7 matches being brought to you by a wonderful production team scattered all across the country in Kandy and Colombo, wherever you may want to find them. But here we are at St. Thomas's College ground looking at the challengers Isipathana, Lahiruhera, Damsara Vitarana coming in place of Kavin Jayasinghe, who's suspended with a red card. Nevita Mevneka goes into the front row and Sethum Rajapaksa goes into the second. Abdul Ahmed is alongside Sanida Javira, Tinetta Durangura the captain, and Shakib Zumri the danger man at number 8. Situpa Bomet pairs off with Tenor de Costa, who feeds his backs very quickly. Taruka Jayavira is on one wing. Aditya Madhushan and even the Kodituakku are a big centre pairing who will come up against another big centre pairing today. Nimantha Sandeepa and Avishka Hiran is at number 15. He will be a key player injecting himself into the lineup as well. In the replacements, Tahir, Ruan Patirana, Vijayasekara, Zumri, Imbulgoda, Bimsat, Hakim, Boteju, Udayangoda and Jafrad for Isipathana, who will go in as perhaps underdogs today, Laksisi.
Yes, indeed, Shanaka. And it comes St. Thomas's College, Vishwa, Ivansha, and Pera, Aman Imran, the front row for St. Thomas's, Sitil Pera and Jan Vanigasuriya, Shalin Vanigasuriya, T.S. Shalvihare, and Makail Karnaratna. Look out for that lad playing at number 8. And the backs for St. Thomas's, skipper Venugo Vikramasuriya, Udan Bulat Singalage, who's having a great season, Avishka Pera, Chanu Telyagoda, Senesh Kalina Gunavardhana, Mayanka Dias, Akit Kure, all of them are very capable of infiltrating any defense of the school's rugby league. And the replacements, Javira, Janadas, Amaravira, Cameron, George, Gunratna, Vijay Singh, Pera, Albert, and Akbar. St. Thomas, as you mentioned, as you rightly mentioned, Shanaka, they will come into this encounter as the favourites.
Interesting to see that their centre pairing is restored today after 2 games where they rested one or the other. Chanu Tehaligoda and Senesh Kalina Gunavardhana. A lot will rest on their burly shoulders today. The big centre pairing is like having 2 Mike Tyndalls in the field. And that's exactly what they will be expected to do. Smash hard at this Isipathana lineup. But if Isipathana can do one thing, it's play with heart. And they will come up really strongly to tackle those big boys in the Thomian midfield. So as we said earlier on, it's the inaugural Rizvi Suhaib Trophy for the encounter between these 2 age-old rivals. Rizvi Suhaib captaining St. Thomas's first unbeaten season in 1989 and bringing on a rivalry with Isipathana, who they met in many league and knockout finals in the course of those 3 years where St. Thomas has remained unbeaten. So choosing to name the trophy after Rizvi Suhaib or Dilfi to his friends. And Isipathana very graciously accepting that invitation. And Tinetta Dodangoda will want to be the man who gets his mittens on the first time that trophy is awarded.
Now St. Thomas's College, they'll be hoping they can get the better of Isipathana College, because after things restarted after the Corona break, Shanaka, St. Thomas's, they have not been able to beat Isipathana, but this year's side, they will definitely have that belief that they can go all the way against the Green Machine. And for Isipathana College, I think, if I'm not wrong, they have actually shifted back to the same formation they used in that knockouts final against Trinity, because Samir Disas is not playing today. Taruka Jayavir has come into the side. So Isipathana College, with Kavin Jayasinghe's absence, I think it will definitely test their forwards, especially with Kavin Jayasinghe's absence.
Well, it's an interesting history, of course, for Isipathana College to fall back on, because the last time that St. Thomas's beat them comprehensively, it was the final of the knockout tournament in 2009, many years ago. Laksisi, most of these players who are playing today for St. Thomas's would not even have been in school at the time that result took place.
And Shanaka, the last time these 2 teams met, the game actually ended in a tie. That was the semi-final of the knockouts last year. And then Isipathana College got that sudden death try thanks to Shahid Sumri to get the victory. So most of these players, they were part of that semi-final encounter. And this year, once again, we will definitely see something very similar. The match officials, referee Shankar Bekon, he'll be the man in charge. And his assistants for today, Jivaka Fonseca and Harshana Vijayvira.
Well, lots of controversy, of course, before kickoff, Laksisi, about who was going to officiate this game. But off the turf wars has ended, and Ishan Kabekun finds himself the man in the middle. And teams are in a huddle, but they will be expected to meet Mrs. Suhaib, Rohaya Suhaib, the widow of Rizvi Suhaib, a legendary captain of Thomian Rugby. And she will present the trophy to the winning team at the end of the next 70 minutes. And Menuka Vikramasuriya will be desperate to get his hands on it to honor the Thomian captain gone before him.
Okay.
Looks like the introductions are going to happen a little later on in the piece. St. Thomas's playing from right to left against the green machine, Isipathana. With the wind blowing from top to bottom of your screen, you can see those coconut trees are fairly still at the moment, so the breeze not a factor at this moment in time, but that could pick up later in the game. And how the teams adapt to that, of course, will be something that will have an effect on the result of this game. And two star players absent in these lineups from last year, Yahan Bulatsingalage and Shahid Zumri rather. And his younger brother Udan Bulatsingalage will kick off, and another younger brother Shahid Zumri will be on the other side of the field for Isipathana as they trade kicks taken well by Mikhail Karunaratne, and St. Thomas is showing some intent to run early on. Mayanka Dias carrying it up to the 40-meter line. Here's Sitil Pereira. This is Sitil Pereira, in fact. It was Arya Vansa who carried it forward. Here's Mikhail Karunaratne. He will be a danger man for St. Thomas's today. Backwards is the call from Ishan Kabekun, who was right on the spot. And St. Thomas is playing with some continuity at the moment. Akit Kure gets his hands free. Beautiful offload to Wanika Surya. Cutting back infield is Senesh Kalyanagaravardhana with his first touch. Long ball out to the big prop forward, Pereira.
Last foot.
Venuka Vikramasuriya. It's good service from him. Here's Bulatsingalage. Takes it to the line. Here's Haliagoda. Busting it into the 22, but it's been knocked forward. So good continuity from St. Thomas's, but the knock-on letting them down.
St. Thomas's College clearly showing their intentions to start things off. And Isipathana College getting the ball back thanks to that knock forward. But St. Thomas's, they'll be the happier side after the earlier phases that we saw in this encounter. But it will be a first scrum of the game for Isipathana.
Interesting positional changes for both teams. Daham coming into the hooker position for Isipathana. And then we see Sitil Pereira moving to the tight head lock position in that number 1 jersey with Arya Vansa Pereira and Aman Imran, who usually plays as hooker, moving to prop. And Ayan Pereira coming into the starting 15. So they've gone for bulk, Laksisi, as have Isipathana. They want to take on the size factor up front. So good thinking, good tactics by both coaches.
Exactly, Shanaka. Now, Isipathana College, the forwards, they have been really good this year, but this will definitely be the biggest challenge for them throughout this season.
Already with a trophy under their belt, of course, Isipathana. And St. Thomas's will want to be the first team to unseat them this year. Nice show and go that time from Madhushan, Aditya Madhushan, that big number 12. Taken easily that time by Bulatsingalage, who's on the turf wicket. He's upended, and Ishan Kabekun says that was a penalty, the immediate long blast, and he'll have to look as to whether it warrants something a little more than just a penalty.
It'll be interesting to see what the decision is going to be. It'll just be a penalty. Very clear from the referee. Just a warning, making sure that skipper Dodangura knows exactly what needs to be done from his teammates.
I think he's a bit lucky there. You can see that replay was in the air, and it was a bit of an undercut, Laksisi. But it's early in the game, and referee Abhikun doesn't want to go to his pocket too early. Udan Bulatsingalage with a little chip over the top. Bulatsingalage looks like he's shaken it off. Would be good to see that one again to see exactly what went on and where he landed. And he's recovered well enough to take the kick. So first line out for St. Thomas's deep in the Isipathana 22. Thunetta Durangoda will be a danger man, but that was beautifully won by Vanigasuriya. Ayan Pereira has been preferred for his throwing, and Haliagoda busts it straight up the middle, holds onto the ball this time, and now they come around the corner. Senesh Kaliana Gunawadana straight through the middle, untouched. And the senior Thomian centre restored to the starting lineup outside his buddy Haliagoda. Completely foxes the Isipathana defence by coming around the short side and ghosting through the gap with a powerful run to get the first score on the board.
Senesh Kaliana Gunawadana score in the first Samana Bank try of the game. Great piece of work from St. Thomas's College. We mentioned this during when we were talking about the starting 15 that this backline of St. Thomas's can infiltrate any defense of this school's rugby league, and that's exactly what they did inside the first 5 minutes, Shanaka.
The first Samana Bank try coming for Leona Gunawadana, and Mayanka Dias will do his best to convert this from what is a difficult angle. But on his home ground, it looks like Dias has slotted it right through for 7-0 lead in the 6th minute of the game for the Thomians. But what's important now from both teams, Laksisi, is how they respond. Do Isipathana respond well? Does this shake their confidence? Or do they go all out and smash the Thomians? And how do the Thomians respond to this kickoff? Do they exit well? That's going to dictate how the next maybe 10 or 15 minutes of this game is going to go.
Yes, indeed, Shanaka. Now here's the replay. Lena Gunawadana getting a good ball from skipper. And how he just spotted the gap to perfection, and how Isipathana College defenders just couldn't even lay a finger on him. That was the specialty of that try. Now, good collection from the restart for St. Thomas's. Second in. Surya going for his options. Yes, Bulat Singalage.
Gunawadana spotting that mismatch with Damita Vijayasekara. And that one was out on the full by St. Thomas's. So just what I was talking about, Laksisi. How do St. Thomas's exit this? That's the important factor. And now they've just allowed Isipathana back into this. Can Isipathana seize this particular moment?
Throughout this year, we have seen this happening a lot, Shanaka, against Mahanama, against Wesley during the knockouts. But Isipathana did manage to make a strong comeback. Now let's see whether they can do this against St. Thomas's as well.
Nicely taken that time by Isipathana, and it was Abdul Ahmed. Lovely setup for them all, and they've got it at the back. Coming off the back is Dam Saravitarana.
Advantage.
No release, and they have a penalty. Playing under advantage. What will they try to do here? Still going through with Abdul Ahmed, and that's a lovely long ball out. Beautiful work from Avishka Hiran, who will skip over for the try. And just like I was saying just a minute ago, Laksisi, is St. Thomas's going to respond, or is Isipathana going to respond? And we have our answer with another Amana Bank try for Avishka Hiran.
Within 2 minutes, Isipathana College, they have bounced back really well. That kick which was just as pulled out by the referee, and then that powerful rolling maul and that brilliant pass to Avishka Hiran, laying the foundation for the first try for Isipathana College. It's 7 points to 5.
He knew he had the advantage. Tenuda De Costa with a lovely pass just missed out so many of the Thomian defenders, and Avishka Hiran running a beautiful angle. He's a danger man.
30 more.
Here he is to try and bring Isipathana back onto level pegging. No wind to speak of here. And it looks like it's good. The crowd behind the goalpost tells you it is. And it's 7 points all, and we have the making of an entertaining fixture in the inaugural match for the Rugby Hype Trophy.
Exactly what Isipathana College needed. And St. Thomas's College, I think after scoring that try, maybe will be a good wake-up call for them as well, Shanaka. They can't be complacent here, although they scored a try inside the first 5 minutes.
If there's a criticism about this particular Thomian team, which is by far the best team that we have fielded in several years, it's the fact that they lack a bit of ruthlessness and killer instinct, Laksisi. They've allowed teams back into the contest far more easily than they should, and that's something that they'll have to turn around pretty quickly as Shakib Zumri takes that ball from the kickoff. Setum Rajapaksa going into the second row today. Will be full of running, of course, the man of the match from the knockout trophy final, and that's a lovely pass across the face of the defense, and once again the lateral movement really foxing Haliagoda. Telonari Costa unable to find the space, and offside is the call. Not sure what that was for. We'll have a look. It's a yellow card for Udan Bulatsingalage, who's made a bit of a habit of this, but let's see what that was for again.
Time back on.
Here's Avishka Hiran making the break. That's the pass to Tenor de Costa. And I think it was in the tackle that the arm of Udan Bulatsingalage hit the ball, which prevented what would have been a try-scoring opportunity, potential try-scoring opportunity. Beautiful take at the back by Zumri that time. They've set up the driving maul. And here they go, they've wedged away. It's the same maul, so St. Thomas's will have to fold quickly. And that time it's another
With the tackle.
in the tackle. Let's have a chat.
Captain, number 7. Number 7. Captain. Tackle එකත් එක්ක බෝල් එකට කමිට් වෙන්නේ. ඒක නිසා just a penalty only. මේ දේවල් කරන්න එපා. Right? Captain. With the tackle එකත් එක්ක වදින්නේ. ඒක නිසා penalty only. Stay on the line.
Not sure what players are supposed to do, Laksisi, when you're wrapping your arms to tackle and the ball hits.
Yellow card එක packing නෙවෙයි.
Here's the tap and go.
Coach.
And that's the tackle that was made by Shalavihara.
Set.
Bit harsh to get a penalty, but it is a scrum, and Shakib Zumri goes off the back, and it's going to be, just doesn't manage to get in there, but his foot was in touch. Zumri insisting that he dragged it back just in time, but I think the assistant referee was right on the spot. So St. Thomas's get away with that, Laksisi.
Exactly, Shanaka. St. Thomas has almost conceded a second try. But, some good defending there. Shakib Zumri is not allowed to go all the way. Now, going back to that conversation, Shanaka, that's actually a rule that I really don't understand, because the defending players, when they try to go off the ball, that tends to happen. So that's sometimes unfair for them.
They've overthrown that one straight to Makal Karunaratne to try and buy a little bit of angle for the left foot of Mayank Dias, who's forced to clear as well because Bulatsingalage is in the hut. And that's a dangerous counter-attack now coming from Avishka Hiran. Running laterally, finds a little bit of space for Sandeepa.
No hands! Play on!
St. Thomas's look like they might have turned this ball over. That's beautifully done by them. Sitil Pereira takes it at the back of the scrum.
Back! Last foot! Green!
Thunders it forward.
Back! Blue!
Under a lot of pressure on the wrong side of the pitch. Mayank Dias is forced to put this one straight down the pitch. And that's a step from Isipathana. Coming back and making an important tackle was Chamod Pereira and winning a penalty for his team as well. But Isipathana looking really dangerous on the counter-attack. Taruka Jayavira that time just couldn't get his hands free.
Taruka Jayavira, the replacement of Samiru Disas, who got injured in that game against Sahira last weekend. The youngster couldn't release the ball that time. Probably could have given the pass out to the supporting player. But anyway, St. Thomas is now with an opportunity to attack.
Good awareness from the Thomian defender that time to get over the ball. Line out has been good from both teams, but Tinetta Dodangara now knows there's only one option for the Thomians. Wanika Surya goes to the back, and that's beautifully done by the Thomians once again, taking Dodangara out of the equation. Mayanka Dias playing at fly half now in the absence of Bulat Singalage, and that's been stolen by Isipathana. The breakdown is Christmas for both defenses. Stabbed through that time, and the ball is going to trickle into touch. But again, good attacking intent from the 15-man Isipathana side against the 14-man Thomian side.
Nimantha Sandeepa that time trying to go for that kick and chase option. The ball unfortunately didn't stay inside the playing field, so it will be a line out for St. Thomas's. So far, we have seen what we were expecting to see, Shanaka. Both the teams playing really hard.
Jan Pereira, that one's overthrown. Falls straight into the arms of Shakib Zumri. That's another knock-on in the tackle, perhaps. Kodituwaku into the 5-meter.
Penalty advantage, offside.
Here they are again. Spinning in the tackle is Mevnaka. And now the numbers have opened up. Di Costa with a little chip over the top, and it's beautifully taken for Isipathana. What a finish that time from Nimantha Sandeepa. An outstanding little bit of communication between the Isipathana backs and the Thomian indiscipline, costing them another Amana back try.
Now the second one of the day for Isipathana. It will be interesting to see a replay how Nimantha Sandeepa recovered, because it didn't go into his hands, Shanaka. Tenlo Di Costa spotting the gap, spotting Nimantha Sandeepa there. And then Nimantha Sandeepa doing the rest. Brilliant, brilliant piece of work from the experienced campaigner, Nimantha Sandeepa. There's the replay. Look at this. Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant from Nimantha Sandeepa. Now Shanaka, he has 2 tricks against St. Thomas's last season.
But he scored an unbelievable try.
20 seconds more.
Just out of nowhere. Created something out of nothing, and Sandeepa's done it again. Oh, what a kick. What a fantastic kick by Avishka Hiran. He's a little man, but he's a big, big player. He's Avishka Hiran. Played the knockout final with a fracture on his hand and did brilliantly for them. And cometh the hour, cometh the man.
Now, yesterday, after that Sri Lanka versus UAE encounter, Shanaka, you did mention that Isipathana still haven't played their cards when it comes to the back line, and maybe, just maybe, we are seeing some of those tricks from the Isipathana back line here.
Been watching Isipathana teams for long enough to know what they're hiding up their sleeve, Laksisi. And you always knew that they would have a new set of tricks for this phase of the competition. Setum Rajapaksa.
Back, bind down. Taken in. Green, number 4, back.
Avishka Hiran. And allowing it to bounce is Mayanka Dias. It doesn't upset things too much as he opts for his left foot, going for that 50-22. But well covered that time. Again, a nice kick straight down the line. Gives very little options for the Thomian defenders. And Dias does really well to get away from that. Puts another kick down the line. The chase has to be good, and nobody's chasing across the field. So Avishka Hiran will look
number 4, number 1, back.
behind the first line of the Thomian defense. Here's Wanika Surya. Liana Gunawardana, the try scorer. Here's Wanika Surya again on the return ball. And that's another hand on the ball. So there's no try scoring opportunity, which is why this might only be a penalty, Laksisi.
Wait. ඒකේ මොනවාරි ෆවුල් ප්ලේ එකක් දැක්කද ඔයාලා? Wait.
Be interesting whether they want to look at this one again on the big screen. And indeed they do. Just want to understand who was inside or outside, whether that something could have come of that pass.
පෙරන්නේ එයා බෝල් එක අතින්ද ගහන්නේ නැත්නම් එයාගේ ඇඟේද වදින්නේ කියලා. On field decision, yellow card.
The on-field decision is a yellow card. This was Wanika Surya. Seneshka Leona Gunawardena coming in. Return ball to Wanika Surya. Here he goes. And it's Sethum Rajapaksa's. In fact, no, it's...
Okay.
It's
Thank you very much.
Of Nevit Metnaka.
Number 4.
Mevnaka.
Number 4.
You saw him realize exactly what he was doing. Tried to take his hand away, but he was too late, Laksisi. And that yellow card, I think both yellow cards are a little harsh from both teams. But he's consistent.
So both the teams getting a yellow card apiece in this encounter inside the first 20 minutes. Now St. Thomas is bound to make use of this opportunity. It's back to 14 versus 14, and St. Thomas will go back to 15 very shortly.
Nevita Mevnaka will go to the bench for 10 minutes, and that will be an interesting substitution for them as well, because they will have to bring on a front row forward. They've got Sethum Rajapaksa in there, so they'll probably just move him to the front. So it may not impact them too much, but it will impact St. Thomas's because they can't use Mikhail Karunaratne off the back of the scrum. So lots of permutations here for that little moment in the game. Ayan Pereira just having Damsara Vitarana in his ear. Wanika Surya comes all the way back, and it's nicely taken. The Thomian line-out has done really well as Mikhail Karunaratne comes away from the back. Venuka Vikramasuriya sniping around, wants his forward support, and now he gets it. Offside is the call from referee Abe Kuhn, and St. Thomas is playing with an advantage. They have to score next in order to stay in this game. You can't allow Isipathana to get away from you.
Last boot.
It's one-out runners from the Thomians. Isipathana without one of their bigger men in the forward pack, so they will be looking to take advantage of that.
Back.
Arya Vansa.
Offside, number 16.
It is for Sithil Pereira, another offside. And Venuka Vikramasuriya with a quick ball out. Seneshka Leona Gunawardena bumping off one, driving his legs into the other. Gets almost to the 5-meter line. Vikramasuriya. Arya Vansa. It's slow ball for St. Thomas's. They'll want a quick one. Here it is for Haliegoda. Almost on the line, the Thomians.
Use it.
One more pick and go should do the trick. They're just checking which side they want to go to. There's space on the fringes. St. Thomas's have spotted it. Aluvihara.
Okay, offside. Number 13.
Offside is the call again. So that's 3 penalties now for the Thomians. Cutting back against the grain. Aluvihara, Pereira in their headbands. Vikramasuriya will go outside, and it's not the best decision from Udan Bulatsingalage, who's come back onto the park, but he knew the penalties were coming. But I thought they should just have continued that a little bit more, Laksisi.
The fact that they had 3 penalties in their favor probably played a part, as you mentioned, Shanaga. So now the next 7 to 8 minutes will be really interesting. St. Thomas is with that numbers advantage. And looks like Kodi Tuakku is having some trouble.
Well, that's going to be a huge blow for Isipathana, isn't it? If even the Kodi Tuakku can't continue. He's a linchpin in that midfield, not just attacking-wise, but defensively as well. So how easily they cut St. Thomas's open on the outside channel. And they will definitely need him to be there. Vishwamitra Jayasinghe, plenty of experience in the middle of that huddle for the Isipathanians, a former Sri Lanka Kandy CRNFC winger. The Thomians desperate for a bit of water that nobody wants to give them. Finally, the reinforcements arrive, but Korituaku is being attended to, so we will have a little bit of a stoppage in play. The Isipathana crowd know that this game is not over by a long shot. But those two back-to-back Amana Bank tries, Laksisi, will have put Isipathana in the driving seat. It's now their game to manage, at least for the first half.
So referee Shankar Bekon asking them to maybe make that change so that they can restart the game quickly. Korituaku. Looks like he's not leaving. He's not leaving.
Well, you'll have to drag him off. You'll need a horse and cart to drag him off.
Time back on.
But I think he's limping pretty badly, Laksisi, and I don't know how much he's got in him. Mikhail Karunaratne coming straight through, but they were expecting him. And he was dropped by Abdul Ahmed.
No. Go back.
Inches short of the line, the Thomians. Inches short, and they've gotten over. Ishankar Bekun is right on the spot, and even though the Isipathana defender, Shakib Zumri, comes up with the ball, they knew that the try was scored under the posts. Another Amana Bank try, the fourth try in 22 minutes.
So St. Thomas's with that first blow, then Isipathana with double blows, and St. Thomas's they return back. It's Pereira, Arivansha in fact scoring the second Amana Bank try for St. Thomas's College. It's 14 points to 12, and don't think there will be any problems in adding the 2 points for St. Thomas's to make it all even.
Well, it's been an entertaining encounter. Both yellow cards impacting the game. The yellow card of Bulat Singhal again really putting St. Thomas's under pressure. Isipathana capitalizing it. And now their yellow card to Mevnaka impacting the Isipathana defensive line. And St. Thomas's really exploiting that one. You can see the try being scored here. Aryavansa latching on to Aluvihara. It looks like it was Aluvihara who actually got the try down. Aryavansa was the latcher. And he deserves 50% of the credit, but the try was actually grounded by what looked like T.S. Aluvihara. Mayank Das will have a fairly straightforward conversion by his own standards. If I were him, I'd take that about 5 meters further back. But he knew exactly what he was doing. And Abdul Ahmed just short. But Jayabira with a really brave tackle on Mikhail Karunaratne, who steamed through that wall. And this is the Rizvi Suhaib Trophy, and anybody who used to watch the Thomian teams of the late 80s and early 90s, those were some of the tricks up Quinton Israel's sleeve, using players to back the opposition and trick plays with that wall. Something we grew up watching as junior rugby players, Laksisi. It's nice to see it being reverted to. Avishka Hiran now will try to exploit the Thomian weakness off the kickoff. Most teams vulnerable just after they scored, but have the Thomians learnt from their experiences of the previous ones. Here's Mayank Das. Takes it well and relieves pressure well also. Looking at a 50-22, but the bounce of the ball was not kind to him. Avishka Hiran will look for a crossfield kick, and that's been just outside the 22. I think it was taken back, so it'll come back for the line out. So that's a really important passage of play for the Thomians.
We saw something similar happening with Udan Bulat Singhal again, and that paved the way for that first try for Isipathana. So they'll be hoping it won't be a similar sort of situation, Isipathana, where St. Thomas's get a third try and get the lead back. It will be an interesting line out this one.
Zaidan Akbar has made an entrance. The number 23 jersey. Nicely taken by Wanika Surya once again. Bulat Singalage to the line, like short ball to his outside centre. Senesh Kalyanugunawardana coming back to the open side, and it's juggled but well taken by Mikhail Karunaratne. He plays a bit of basketball, so knows how to control the ball at close quarters. That's nicely done by Bulat Singalage, who's intent on taking it to the line.
No.
Good rucking that time. Bulat Singalage again. Here's Wanika Surya. Inside the 22. Sitil Pereira. Good gang tackle on him by the Isipathana defense. Cutting infield, and now it's a little bit of space for Aluvihara. Aluvihara almost to the line. He's over. He gets his second. Tiasha Aluvihara creating that out of nothing. Spotting the space, stepping off his right foot. And scoring what is an absolutely important try at an absolutely crucial time of the game for the Thomians.
And here's Aluvihare showcasing that brute power he has, the youngster. Look at this. There's the first one, there's the second one. Carries two defenders of Isipathana to go over for the Amana Bank try. Brilliant piece of work from the youngster. And just like that, St. Thomas's step back in the lead, Shanaka.
Got to doff your hat to Ayan Pereira as well, who created the space and also managed to get that little short pass away to Aluvihara. And the conversion from Mayankadais is regulation as St. Thomas's go into a 21-14 lead. Not so much the lead, Laksisi, as the time that the lead comes in. So 2 tries scored while Mebnaka is in the lead. An important call. It's just a fingertip which might make the difference. And Tiesha Aluvihara's father will have one eye on what's happening in Pallakale. He's an old Trinitian himself. And one eye certainly on his son scoring a double here in the Rizvi Suhaib encounter. Couple of Trinitians kids playing in this encounter, the captain himself as well. Venuka Vikramasuriya. His father played in the 50 at Bradby, try scorer there as well. They will want to be celebrating at the end of this game for one or the other reason. The result in Pallakale or the Rizvi Suhaib trophy, as Avishka Hiran will have other ideas. Off he goes. His mistake allowing St. Thomas's in there for that full out kick. And now De Costa, Abdul Ahmed, Jayavira. Tenuda De Costa again. Aditya Madhushan. The ball is well picked up by Mikhail Karunaratne. Fantastic awareness from the young number 8. And Venuka Vikramasuriya opting to go for the box kick. That was a nicely weighted one as well.
Back, green back.
Mayankadais does, in fact, it's Udan Bulat Singalage who does well at the back, juggles it, but
back, blue back.
Ball bouncing off the turf. Another good juggle from Avishka Hiran.
Back, green back.
And that ball is unfortunately off the hand of Karunaratne. Tried a bit of a basketball rebound, but didn't work that time. And finally, the kicking duel comes to an end with a line out for Isipathana around the 40-meter mark.
And Isipathana, they have another injury scare here, Shanaka. This time it's the other centre, Aditya Madhushan, who's down.
Yes, I saw it happen, Laksisi. If you can go back to his run, you can see that your studs can get stuck in this turf. And I hope that's not a worse injury than it looked. So both centres, this will affect their ability to move sideways, which will play right in the hands of the big Thomian centres. Watch it here. That's where it goes in the tackle of Zaidan Akbar. You can see him clutching it immediately. And on that hard ground, Perhaps the ankle mobility was not quite what it needed to be. And Madhushan, he's not going to go off, neither is Kodituakku, but you have to ask. Shafin Majid, who is the physiotherapist, knows exactly what he's going to be doing here. So we'll try to see if the players can bear the pain initially, but if not, I'm sure he will bring them off.
And it's a very tricky situation, isn't it, Shanaka? Because yes, these boys, they have 4 more games remaining, but this encounter, this is an important one. They will carry forward the points from this encounter, so it's a tricky situation for everyone involved.
Yes, it is pretty crucial, and this is why you have to give ownership, responsibility and accountability to the people in charge. And St. Thomas's didn't contest that too much, and now cutting back is Zumri, who knows that he will need to play a advanced or enhanced role here. Kodituakku, that knee is not giving him any trouble at all, but it's knocked forward on the floor. Vikramasuriya snaffles up the loose ball, and Senesh Kaliyana Gunawardena finds himself again in among the forwards. Backs at fly half now, and Bulat Singalage with the long kick. It's taken back, so he can't kick it out on the full. Avishka Hiran has been doing plenty of collecting at the back and plenty of counter-attacking as well. And here's a little bit of gas now coming on. Just not put into touch, and Bulat Singalage will drag this one outside the 22. Knock on is the call, so there's no advantage from that knock forward. And Taruka Jayavira's run ends in a knock forward.
Line out. Mark here, outside. 27 gone.
Outside the 22, it will be a scrum. Tomian ball. 6 minutes left in this half. Laksisi, do we have another score for one of the teams?
Couch! Bye!
St. Thomas, it's important how they get out of this position here. With less than 6 minutes to go on our clock. And there's Karunaratne.
Okay, inside.
Colourful base layers from the Isipathana forward pack.
No, going off it, going off it.
The Thomians have got a penalty. They'll want to just calm things down and take this
Number
lead
21.
into half time. Make sure they get touch, walk to the line out. Isipathana will want to hurry it up. If they can get even a penalty, Laksisi, go in at 21-17, that'll give them a little bit more to play for. But that's not what they need. Well, it is. It's a wonderful kick. We saw the crowd just
Number 9.
exclaiming there. I thought it had stayed in field, but fortunately the pictures show otherwise for Udan Bulatsingalage. This man has been good. Waninga Surya, the younger Waninga Surya brother.
So St. Thomas is with another attacking opportunity inside Isipathana College half.
Punitra Dodangora, they've nullified the threat, at least up to now, Laksisi. The commentators curse on them, and he's always posing a threat at the front of that line out. Makes opposition hookers really nervous, and there's a little too much movement, a little bit of miscommunication. And now, have they given the initiative back now to Isipathana to run this one back? They indeed have, as Setum Rajapaksa is met in a good tackle by Aluvihara. Mevnaka is back from the sin bin. In fact, it was Aditya Madhushan. It was ripped. And Chamod Pereira stepping off his right foot with that strong leg drive. It's a dangerous man in broken field. Sitil Pereira has a very different approach to running, but still very effective. Mikhail Karunaratne. Beautiful hands from the young number 8 on to the on-rushing Waninga Surya. That's Jehan Waninga Surya. Bulat Singalage with a pass to Zaidan Akbar, who takes St. Thomas's into the 22. But straight over the top is the arriving player, and another respite for Isipathana.
St. Thomas's, it was starting to look like that they are creating some panic for Isipathana College, but just like that, they have given the ball back, and Isipathana gaining some sort of territory there, but still inside their own half. Not the best of kicks from Avishka.
You can see the fatigue setting in, and it's going straight to his knees. That time was Akit Kure, I think it was.
Blue, Tawili and blue.
And this is what forwards don't like, when outside backs don't know how to ruck. Beautifully taken at the back by Abdul Ahmed. Setum Rajapaksa again in the center of the park for Isipathana, carrying it forward. St. Thomas is not competing at that ruck.
Use it.
Wanting Isipathana to play in their own half or kick it to them. Udan Bulatsingalage has been covering the backfield quite well. And that's a grass cutter tackle, but beautifully played by Bulatsingalage. Once again, he left the ball and picked it up. Vikramasuriya will think about his box kick, but he's got forwards outside him.
No, first all away.
He's probably got to get to the other side of the pitch. Bust up the middle by Aman Imran.
Back, blue, back, back.
And that's a good kick. It's a good chase coming in as well by Zaidan Akbar.
Green back, number back.
Putting the kicker under pressure as well, and Bulatsingalage will feel this inside his 22, and he's got good technique. The younger of the Bulatsingalage brothers. He's got not as long a boot that his older brother, but his accuracy is pretty good.
Ihan Bulatsingalage, one of the top point scorers a few years ago in the Dialog Schools Rugby League, Shanaka. Now Udan Bulatsingalage, after the departure of his brother, coming into his own really well for St. Thomas's.
Lots of younger brothers in this lineup. Tinetha Dodangoda is one of them, the brother of Surya Dodangoda. One is knocked forward and taken in the air as well. They're thinking about tapping and running, but from the wrong mark.
Mark here. 32 gone.
You look at the body language, St. Thomas's seems to have got their confidence back after that try, Laksisi. They seemed a little under pressure with those initial mistakes that allowed Isipathana into the game. But now they look like a team that's ready to boss this game. And you have to wonder about the two knee injuries to the Isipathana midfield. That's going to really hamper them defensively. Jaya with an unnecessary intervention. Now Ruan Pathirana is on the park in the number 17 jersey for Isipathana. Ayan Pereira will look to hit Vanigasuriya. Vanigasuriya goes to the back. Tinetha Dodangoda has now read it and will be a little bit more prepared. Udan Bulatsingalage. Should that pass have gone a little earlier?
First roll away. Number 6.
And now Senesh Kalyanaguna with a lovely ball to Mayanka Dias. Mayanka Dias dummying, but only manages to find Kodituaku. Ball going out of the hands of the Isipathana centre.
St. Thomas's College once again threatening Isipathana big time. Probably into the last minute, maybe before we go into Lemons. And, you mentioned that Ruan Patharan is out there in the middle. Shanaka, I believe Lahiru Herat might be out because Lahiru Herat was actually recovering after going down with a fever last weekend as well. Didn't play the encounter.
Crouch!
This is a scrum that St. Thomas's really will want to pressure just on the stroke of half time. Try and either milk a penalty or force Isipathana into a mistake. Aditya Madhushan, not the time or the place for him to try too many tricks, as Avishka Hiran thumps this one to the safety of the touchline. But Udan Bulatsingalage once again covering that touchline very well. Nice ball to Senesh Kalyanaguna, who puts a left-footed kick in. He should probably have kept that in hand. And now the Thomians getting over the top of that ball. But Isipathana seem to have won this one.
Tackle, release!
Taken forward.
Stay, last foot.
And here's a bit of space opening up. Lovely tackle on Kodituaku by his opposite number, Lianagunawardana. That copybook tackle. You have to wonder if that knee was not giving him trouble, you would have backed Kodituaku to go on the outside there.
No hands.
Mevnaka at the bottom of that ruck, and now plenty of space in the pocket. That ball was touched, so they will need to bring this one back and just not able to manage it that time.
Last play.
Last play is a call from referee Abekun. Isipathana will have one more opportunity since that ball was touched. It will be their line out. Will the Thomians contest this one? Shalin Manigasuriya.
Blue Elite, number 3.
Zumri will be one of the lifters for Tinetta Dudangoda. It's contested, but slow ball from the line out. De Costa to Sethum Rajapaksa. They've given him plenty of space. The second row forward today. And not sure why they put that one up. Beautifully taken that time by Udan Bulatsingalage, who might as well have 15 on his back. He's been covering so much. Akit Kure not really in the game yet. Dangerous broken field runner. Tenone De Costa with the long pass to his linchpin in the backs. Avish Kahiran. All Chamod Pereira needs to do is run this one into touch. Instead, he's kept it in the field of play. And
half time.
St. Thomas's will breathe a sigh of relief that that ball runs into touch.
So that will be half-time here at the big club grounds in Mount Lavinia. And the home team, St. Thomas's, they will go into half-time with a 7-point lead. And Aditya Madhushan, he's limping. Kodituaku is limping as well, Shanaka. So that will be a huge worry for Isipathana going into that second half. Here's the half-time score confirmation. The home team, St. Thomas's, with a 7-point buffer, 21 points to 14 against Isipathana College. And we have 35 minutes of some phenomenal action coming your way as these two brilliant sides will clash on in this final game of round 1 in the Dialog Schools Rugby League 2025. So we will head to a commercial break and we'll be back with the live action from the second half. Stay tuned to Sri Lanka's #1 sports channel, ThePapare.
Rugby.
Live rugby.
Prima Kotumi. Fun tamai.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samagin. Pirimin sadahamai.
Creamy richness redefined. Smooth, soft, spreadable. Introducing Fondre with canola and sunflower oil.
At ESU, every class, every opportunity unlocks a new version of yourself. Welcome to the Infinite You. Welcome to ESU.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samagin. Pirimin sadahamai.
Saratama enjoy karanga party ekata go.
Night Go Pocket Perfume. Youth ekata go ekak.
The road is yours.
German engineered tires for Sri Lankan roads. Seat car radials. The road is yours.
කොහෙන් හරි කමන්නේ ෆොටෝ එක තිබ්බනම් මට මේ බිත්තියේ කැත වහගන්න තිබ්බා.
සෞමරිය අක්කා.
බිත්තියට ස්විස් ටෙක් ස්කිම් කෝඩ් ගාලා ෆිනිෂ් කළා නම් ඔය ප්‍රශ්න මුකුත් නැහැ.
Swiss Tech Skin Coat finish එකට හොඳම කෙනා.
Ah, boss, I got you some homemade milk toffee. Shall I bring it now? You know, no matter what others say, you are really important to us. I have never seen anyone care about the company as much as you do.
While you're working hard to earn your yearly bonus, save money with Commercial Bank's Power Bonus. Open an account with just 5,000 rupees and earn bonus interest every 3 months straight.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
That was summer refreshment, the train make a go.
Night Go Pocket Perfume. Youth ekata go ekak.
Keep sweating. Keep pushing the limits. Keep stepping up your game. Keep shining. Keep rising. No matter what your fitness goal is, we are always there by you, with you. Iodex. Get, spray, go.
There is a rhythm to island life, where a walk is a dance, where there is work-life flexibility, where fun is serious, and where songs rise out of the sea. The unique and amazing facets of island living inspire us.
Bring that inspiration home. Lanka Tiles. Fine living. Redefined.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
වතුරත් ලීක් වෙලා. ස්ලැබ් එකත් ඉවරයි. බලන්නකො දැන් සාලේ කැත. චමරි.
ස්විස්ටෙක් ඇක්වාෂීල්ඩ් 2K waterproof දැම්මා නම් වතුර කාන්දු වෙන්නෙත් නෑ. හිතටත් නිදහස්.
ස්විස්ටෙක් ඇක්වාෂීල්ඩ් 2K waterproofer සීල් කරන්න හොඳම කෙනා.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Creamy richness. Redefined. Smooth, soft, spreadable. Introducing Fondre with canola and sunflower oil.
The road is yours.
German-engineered tires for Sri Lankan roads. Seat car radials. The road is yours.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Creamy richness. Redefined. Smooth, soft, spreadable. Introducing Fondre with canola and sunflower oil.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
At ESU, every class, every opportunity unlocks a new version of yourself. Welcome to the Infinite You. Welcome to ESU.
Whose fault is this? Looks like someone didn't use Tokyo's Superbond for tiling. Tokyo Superbond. Do it right the first time.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Love rugby.
Live rugby.
Prima Kotlumi. Fun tamari.
එක පැත්තකින් වාගෙන ඉඳි තව පැත්තකින් මතුවෙනවා. මේ ටයිල් එක බෑ. දෙක තුනක් කැඩිලත් එක්ක. චමරි අක්කා.
ජීවිත කාලය පුරාම අල්ලන් ඉන්න නම් ටයිල් අල්ලන්න ඕන ස්විස්ටෙක් ටයිල් ඇඩිසිව්.
ස්විස්ටෙක් ටයිල් ඇඩිසිව් අල්ලන්න හොඳම කෙනා.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
The road is yours.
German-engineered tires for Sri Lankan roads. Seat car radials. The road is yours.
දවසම ෆ්‍රෙෂ් වෙන්න. O3 Spirit and Freedom perfumed body spray.
කොහෙන් හරි කමන්නේ ෆොටෝ එක තිබ්බනම් මට මේ බිත්තිය කැත වහගන්න තිබ්බා.
චමරි අක්කා.
පිටියට ස්විස්ටෙක් ස්කින් කෝට් ගාලා ෆිනිෂ් කළා නම් ඔය ප්‍රශ්න මුකුත් නැහැ.
ස්විස්ටෙක් ස්කින් කෝට් ෆිනිෂ් එකට හොඳම කෙනා.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Creamy richness. Redefined. Smooth, soft, spreadable. Introducing Fondre with canola and sunflower oil.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
හරි. ඉන්ජෙක්ෂන් එක. බයද? ඒවටත් බෙහෙත් අපි ළඟ තියෙනවා. ඉඳගන්න.
උස්වත්ත පවුලින් හඳුන්වා දෙන රස ඇබ්බැහිය චර්පි චිප්ස් රිදෙන්න දැනෙන රස
තව ඉන්ජෙක්ෂන් එකක් ගහමුද?
At ESU, every class, every opportunity unlocks a new version of yourself. Welcome to the Infinite You. Welcome to ESU.
between St. Thomas's, the hosts, and the visitors, Isipathana, in the inaugural clash for the Rizvi Suhaib Trophy. And at half-time, Venuka Vikramasuriya seems to have got the fingernails of one hand on that Rizvi Suhaib Trophy as they lead 21 points to 14. These are the highlights of the first half. St. Thomas is running it back nicely, and within the first 5 minutes, they had their first try through Sanesh Kalyana Gunawardana. But Laksisi, you've been watching Isipathana sides for a long time now, and they are a team, whether it's at half-time or at 65 minutes, that can never be written off.
Yeah, that's true, Shanaka, but during this season, during the last few games, a pattern that we have seen is how much Isipathana struggled, especially during the second half. They play really well for 20 minutes maybe in that first half, but in the second half, they have struggled big time. They have conceded a lot of points, so I think that's an area that St. Thomas will focus quite a lot, and Isipathana, they can't afford to do that same mistake here, because otherwise, this top quality St. Thomas' side, they will just completely run away with the game.
And that's what the Thomians will have discussed over the course of the last week's preparations. They would have seen how many points Zahira scored in the last bit of that game against Isipathana last week. And already Isipathana, with Aditya Madhushan and Yuvindu Kodituwaku suffering knee injuries, they've had their midfield in the wars. And because those guys' movement might be hampered, that's perhaps the only invitation that St. Thomas's need to run this ball wide and get the centres moving laterally.
And also, it's not just against Zaira as well, Shanaka, against Dharmaraj, against Kingswood. It was the same thing getting repeated over and over again from Isipathana. So, yeah, the next 35 minutes will be really, really important. And St. Thomas's, as you mentioned, they certainly have at least some fingernails on this Rizvi Suhaib Trophy.
Most grounds having one side of it bathed in sunlight, and the big clubs is no stranger to that either. And that ball goes out on the full. So a mistake from the kickoff. This is uncharacteristic from Isipathana. It looks very much like they're feeling the pressure already, Laksisi.
Exactly, Shanaka. Going into the half-time, trailing by 7 points against a good side like St. Thomas's will definitely rattle them quite a lot. And we have seen that straight away in the very first kick of the second half, it goes out on the full.
You have to wonder whether they had expended all their energy in the knockout tournament. They played some very aggressive, tight, intense games against Wesley, against Trinity. And have they not got enough depth in their squad? We'll find out. It's going to be another longish season as Udan Bulat Singalage goes through the gap. A show and a go from the younger Bulat Singalage. Can he get all the way? No, he can't, but he can pop it up for Sanesh Kalyana Gunawardana, who does brilliantly to leave the ball and get up. Mayaka Das with the long ball out. Makal Karunaratne unselfishly gives it away to Ayan Pereira, and St. Thomas's with the try of the game so far. Opened the scoring with an Amana Bank try. Beautiful little pirouette. An acceleration through the gap for Mudan Bulat Singalage. And superb, unselfish hands from the rest of the team to put the young hooker over for his first try of the season.
Mudan Bulat Singalage laying the foundation for that try with a fantastic run. And then the rest of the team, they made sure they contributed and got the job done. And just like that, to begin the second half, Shanaka, they have a 12-point advantage, which will most probably become 14 points with a relatively easy conversion coming their way. And Isipathana, if they were feeling any pressure at the start of this half, that would have been doubled by the try.
But it was a scrum from that missed kickoff that led to that. And Mayank Das will take his time, and this is the ball. Completely unselfish, 2-on-1. The third rower and the front rower combining. And that's what I like about the way Mikhail Karunaratne has matured as his season has gone on. He was maybe taking a little extra contact at the start of the season, but now realizes that just drawing players to him and putting others into space is a more effective way of playing this game.
TMO.
Seems to be a bit of a hold up. I don't know what the reason is. Mayank Das. hasn't knocked over the conversion yet or attempted the conversion yet. And while the sun goes down behind the clouds, the volume has also dropped from the Isipathana section of the crowd, who will be desperate for their team to score next. A double blow from the green machine early on in the game gave everyone a lot of hope for what was going to be a competitive game. In fact, it was 3. Oh, they're looking at something. Sure what it is. Probably want to see whether Shanesh Kalyanaguna knocked this ball on. I thought he was perfectly fine. It's a perfectly timed tackle as well. Leaves the ball. And just want to check whether that went forward in the tackle. I don't think there was any problem here. Dias's pass was fine. Karunaratne's. Must be that knock-on that they're looking at. So this is the burst from Bulat Singalage. Lovely little show from him inside. And completely fox Shakib Zumri on the inside shoulder. Thought a right-footed step would have taken him where he needed to go. But this is a lovely offload from the floor. It was a good, well-timed tackle. And it seemed that it was deliberate. That Shanesh Kalyanaguna let the ball go. And that's why Mayank and Dias will now be allowed to take the conversion.
Seconds.
Dias flawless off the tee. As St. Thomas's afternoon continues to improve. Isipathana hit by a double injury blow. We'll need to marshal all the history, all the trophies they have under their belt to come back into this game. They'll need their big players, Laksisi, Zumri, Avishka Hiran, Abdul Ahmed, Sethum Rajapaksa, all to step up now.
Okay.
Avishka Hiran puts this one deep into the pocket for Bulat Singalage. In fact, it's Akit Kure this time. His first real meaningful touch of the game.
Trailing by 14 points, Isipathana. This is not just another side, Shanaga. This is a classy side from St. Thomas's. Now, this will test their character quite a lot. Not just Isipathana as well, for St. Thomas's as well. How they handle the next 30 minutes of this encounter. Two champion sides. They're waiting for a treat here.
Damsara Vitarana with the throw into Tinetho Dodangoda. Transfers the ball back and makes about 5 meters on that driving maul. Being pushed towards the touchline, so they'll have to come away with it as Damsara does that, but he gets smashed back in a tackle from Venuka Vikramasuriya. The Thomian scrum half looks like he means business. Avishka Hiran playing a little bit of touch rugby.
No.
It's available now for Sethum Rajapaksa. Lovely technique he has in the contact situation. Release is the call, and Aluvihara does well. Mevnaka now driving those legs inside the 40 meters. And that's the penalty that Isipathana desperately needed. Let's not forget, Laksisi, that this was the scoreline against Kingswood as well. And Kingswood stormed back into that game. So St. Thomas's will know they cannot rest on these laurels. A 2-score gap is not going to be enough. They have to show that ruthlessness that we discussed early on in the broadcast.
Exactly, Shanaka. For St. Thomas's now it's about trying to get another try to increase that lead. Because we mentioned earlier as well, there's still 28 minutes remaining in this game. That's a lot of time.
On the line, on the line, on the line.
Now Isipathana, an opportunity to hit back with this line out.
Sithil Pereira getting a bit few running repairs. Tinetha Thodangoda uncontested in the line out this time. Jayavira going in and secures the ball. Now they've got that driving ball snaking towards the line. Still going. It's going sideways but also forwards. And it's dragged down by Arya Bangsa. Referee might reach into his pocket here because that maul looked like it had legs on it. It's quite lucky that the Thomians don't get a talking to. And Avishka Hiran will do the same again. This time I feel that St. Thomas's with Wanika Surya in their ranks and Aluvihara should contest this line out. Let's see how many men Tinetha Thodangoda calls for.
Nice indeed, Shank. If there's any line out that can challenge Isipathana College this season, that's exactly St. Thomas's. So they need to challenge this one for sure. Because if they don't, it will be really, really hard for them to stop Isipathana from going over for a try here.
Thodangoda once again, no contest.
Ball.
Jayavira secures at the back.
Use it.
Damsara takes it and now they move it out. Setum Rajapaksa at first receiver.
Roll away, roll away.
Good tackle on him. And here's a bit of space opening up for De Costa. Lovely inside ball. Sandeepa almost to the line.
Penalty advantage.
Oh, it's a high tackle. So St. Thomas's will be under pressure again, but it doesn't matter. Because Isipathana get the score through Avishka Hiran. An outstanding try from Isipathana. They cannot be written off. And they absolutely had to score next, and this Amana Bank try is just what the doctor ordered for the green machine.
Nimanda Sandeepa almost going all the way. And Avishka Hiran making sure he finished what Nimanda Sandeepa started. But yeah, going back to that point, Shanaka, St. Thomas is not contesting in that line out. That actually baffles me quite a lot why they're not doing that.
And that's the thing, isn't it, Luxus? If you don't contest a line out, you really have to drive that maul and drive it quickly and drive it backwards. And that's something that St. Thomas's weren't able to do. So you've got to do one or the other. Beautiful conversion once again from a tight angle by Avishka Hiran, who has been keeping his team in the game. He's been leading them not from the front but from the back. And the fullback has been really influential in Isipathana getting as close as they are so far. Here's some pictures from our Papare crew. It's just too much space and completely unchallenged. Nobody even made a tackle, and the fringe defense, Anuranga Valpola, when he sees that replay, he's going to be absolutely beside himself. Setum Rajapaksa.
Release, release. Back. No.
Here's Vithaka Ruan Pathirana.
Taken in.
Taken back into the 22,
Back,
so
back,
De Costa
back,
will have to
number
keep
5, back.
this in the field of play.
Backward.
Mikhail Karnaratna touches it.
Taken in.
So he will now need to run. Udan Bulat Singhal
Back,
again.
back. Go
Keeps
back.
it low and drives it back towards Avishka Hiran. What can he spark for his team? Oh, that's a charge down, a partial charge down, but unfortunately for Zaidan Akbar, he loses it on the floor.
Advantage over.
And Shakib Zumri now puts a little kick in, showing that he's adept at that skill as well. Just on the 50-meter mark now for the Thomians, who want to settle this game down and not let Isipathana score again. That was surely not onside as Isipathana come in. Ayan Pereira. Now he makes the pass, but unfortunately it was just behind the man. So Thomas is being a little tentative. Fatigue may be catching up with both teams. Mayanka Das now finds himself at first receiver.
Back.
Vikramasuriya goes deep into the pocket for Udan Bulatsingal again, who drives this back again. And Avishka Hiran will try to watch this one over the dead ball line, but he's compelled to kick it out because the Thomian chase was coming up. So an interesting passage of play. You can see the fatigue is affecting both teams. The intensity has dropped, Laksisi, and the injection of somebody off the bench is going to spark this.
With 24 minutes to go on our clock, both the teams feeling the heat big time with all the pressure surrounding the two teams going into the last 25. Just 7 points separating the two sides. I don't think we are far away from seeing a lot of fresh legs out there as well, as you mentioned, Shanaka.
Ayan Pereira. Vanika Surya goes to the back. Zumri will contest, but this line out has worked really well for the Thomians so far. Arya Vansa, little isolated, but the Thomians get there quickly. Bulat Singalage, the nice ball over the top to Shalin Vanika Surya this time. Vikramasuriya again across the face to Aman Imran. Moves to prop in favor of Ayan Pereira's more accurate line out throwing. Nice offload from Karunaratne, but they've managed to hold up Vanika Surya. He's got his knee on the floor.
Release.
No call of release, but now it comes. Arya once again puts his shoulder into that contact. Bulat Singalage opts for the line, pops it up, and Veeragunawardena leaves it behind. Knock forward is the call, so no advantage, and Isipathana will have the put in.
Yeah, nine. Tackle a clear release at corner.
Well, both teams really opening it out now, Laksisi, and we're
inside
seeing some broken field running, which we would expect from this team, but that's a distinct lack of structure at the moment.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Steady. All in.
Siddhapa Bomet gives it to De Costa.
Back, blue back.
That ball coming back off a
no, release.
really dangerous bounce. Could have gone anywhere. Here it is for Avishka Hiran. Puts the hammer down, goes straight through, dags him to the floor.
No.
And looks like Avishka Hiran finally gets dragged into touch. But you can see how dangerous a player he is, isn't it, Laksisi?
Early in the season, Avishka Hiran was struggling with that injury, but with his recovery going really well, Shanaka, we have seen him performing really well in the last few weeks, and today has been no exception. He has been really good for Isipathana throughout this encounter from the start.
Vanika Surya again going to the back, and that time really good pressure from Abdul Ahmed. Here's Shakib Zumri. Mevnaka, good tackle on him by his opposite number.
Back. Use it. Advantage
Siddhapa
over.
Bomet. Haven't seen the box kick too much from him yet, but Akit Kure has this one covered.
Mark here.
And he'll take his time about this.
10 meters. Mark here.
I took the right option, I believe, because we don't see this happening a lot these days in Shanaka. Players calling the mark, just settle down a little bit with all the pressure mounting in. And Akit Kure taking that option.
Kure taking the short tap and giving it to the long boot of Udan Bulat Singalage, who takes play almost up to the halfway mark. So, welcome pressure reliever. Siddhapa Bomet will need to keep that ball in hand a little bit more. Isipathana chasing the game, but it's only one score, Laksisi, and everything could change in an instant. St. Thomas's want to get a little bit of daylight with at least a penalty. Dodanggoda again imperious at number 2 in that line out. And that ball knocked forward. It's an uncharacteristic mistake. Venuka Wickramasuriya dragged down by Aditya Madhushan, who's somehow managed to stay on the field. Some determination from these two centres of Isipathana.
Korituakku and Aditya Madhushan still out there, 19 minutes to go. And Isipathana, they'll certainly be thinking what are the options they have if they are to replace at least one of them going into the last few minutes of the game, Shanaga. Yeah, that will be a huge headache for Isipathana.
Inside 50. Play on.
St. Thomas's with a little bit of a wraparound move to try and get some one-on-one space for Chamod Pereira. Senesh Kalyan Gunawardana sees a gap opening, but it closed quite quickly. Wickramasuriya now. Ayan Pereira straightens up.
Roll away, no hands. Back.
Here's Sitil Pereira.
Clear release, clear release, clear release. Back, back.
Wickramasuriya again. Now there's some space opening up. Aluvihara manages to free his arms and present that ball well. It's quick for Wickramasuriya. Mayanka Das into the 22 he goes.
Play on.
And beautifully stolen away from Avishka Hiran. And it looked like he might have been taken late. Is this another game-changing moment?
Okay.
The Isipathana fullback is the fast starter here. And let's see what came of that if we can see the replay.
purposely नहीं करे purposely करे ना ball carry अटक गया कैप्टन बॉल करिए लोग ये पुनिसा मैं पर्पसली करे नहीं पेनल्टी आती तरह थी लेट चार्ज अतने पेनल्टी आती ना नो येलो कार्ड राइट डोंट डू दैट अतने ध्यान Captain.
Well, Wickramasuriya is very happy that referee Abeko didn't need to reach into his pocket. If we can see that replay, we'll see how late that was and who the player was. He's offering Tinetha Dodanggoda an option of a penalty or a scrum. Avish.
Back. Taubain. बॉल लेके बैठा था हारित बालन राइट टाइम ऑफ टीएम ऑफ चेंजेस करगन बॉल लेके बैठा था हारित बालन को तो ना तीन किला
Let's watch this one here. Wickramasuriya. It's a few phases after this one. Aluvihara takes the ball up. It's a good counter ruck. And this is where Mayanka Das makes the break. Avishka Hiran standing over it.
ඊළඟ payment ඊළඟ බෝල් එක වැටෙන තැන පෙන්වනවා නම් හරි අපිට.
This is what we've all been waiting for. Mayanka Dias. And then you've got Avishka Hiran who goes in over the ball. It's a good steal. And don't think Vanika Surya was even looking at Avishka Hiran at that point. Seemed like just might see another angle. There was another angle of that contact, so have to wait for the production crew to get that one ready for us. There's two possibilities here that, well, three possibilities. The referees could stay with their current decision. They could aggravate it and maybe go for a card, or perhaps maybe even reverse the decision. Few options available. Crucial moment in the game, of course, with just one score. And this is Mayanka Dias going in. Avishka Hiran, you can see that number 10 comes away with the ball. Vanika Surya. There's no tackle there. And it seemed just like Avishka Hiran ran into Vanika Surya, whose back was turned to him. Not sure that's even a penalty, to be very honest.
Dangerous play, it's a yellow card.
Wow. That's an interesting decision. Very interesting decision. Thought they might go back and say there's
time back on.
Not even a penalty. But Avishka Hiran has done wonderfully well to squeeze a yellow card and send off the Thomian line-out jumper.
Isipathana back with the opportunity. They have the numbers advantage. And they want to use that to get back into even terms with St. Thomas's here with around 17 minutes to go on our clock.
Well, the assistant referee on the far side saw that very differently to what I, for one, did. But Ishank Abekun taking the advice, and Shalin Vanika Surya will have to make up for his brother's absence.
Right, time back on.
Avishka Hiran with a wry smile on the inside, of course. Aditya Madhushan has been soldiering through that injury.
Ball.
Nicely taken by Abdul Ahmed at the back of that line out. St. Thomas is piling in. Still going, that's nicely constructed. And really well done. Even though the ball was at the back of that maul, they didn't use it in time. You can see Abdul Ahmed and Shakib Zumri having a word with their forward pack. Navid Tahir has made an entrance also onto the loose head side of the scrum.
Right.
For Isipathana.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Steady. All in, all in.
No Makal Karunaratne at the back, of course, but Suresh Kalyanagurawadana is full of running. We haven't seen Shanu Tahaliagoda with the ball in hand too much. Again, driving it low to Sandeepa. Sandeepa with a little bit of a chase, and now Chamot Pereira. Looked like that might have been a bit of a high tackle.
Offside, penalty
Play on
advantage.
is the call.
Offside.
And here's Tahir. Beautifully stolen.
Offside.
But offside is the call from referee before the steal. And now Isipathana surely must go for points. Laksisi. And yes, they absolutely have. Avishka Hiran wasted no time in pointing to the posts.
Shakib Sumri, I believe, wanted to go for touch and maybe to get that rolling ball. But Avishka Hiran straight away saying, no, we have to go for the 3 points because that will get them ever so close to St. Thomas's going into the last 15.
Well, you have to say that Shakib Zumri might have been thinking about the fact that Vaniga Surya is out. So the line out is sure, but that doesn't matter because they've not been contesting either, St. Thomas's. So Isipathana not falling prey to that momentum red mist that Sri Lanka fell prey to yesterday. They're taking the points when it's on offer. Beautiful run by Nimantha Sandeepa, who has made a habit of scoring against St. Thomas's. Udan Bulat Singhalage, there was no dangerous contact there, but he was very upright in that tackle. But the penalty comes at a more kickable angle, so Isipathana will be happy for that.
What out? What out?
Situpa Bometh hasn't had a lot to do except service from the base.
Time back on. Back.
Avishka Hiran. The drums at the big club ground
30 seconds still.
are silenced as Hiran steps back and knocks this one straight through, and it's 24 points to 28. It's a 4-point game. A try will do it for Isipathana. And for St. Thomas's, how much pressure can they absorb in the next 15 minutes of this game?
When you think about it, it was Avishka Hiran who created that little moment for Isipathana earlier with that turnover and everything, and he slots through the 3 points. And Isipathana now 4 points behind St. Thomas's. They have that added pressure of having to play with just 14 men on the park for the next 8 minutes or so. So how will they handle that? A lot to play for both the teams and everything at stake, Shanaka.
Well, a pretty crucial call there, wasn't it, Laksisi, for Vaniga Surya to be sent off. It will affect St. Thomas's in the long run, in the medium term as well, because Vaniga Surya is their line-out jumper, a favoured line-out jumper.
Time back on.
And Bulat Singhalage will want to just calm things down a little bit for his team. Sethum Rajapaksa takes it well, puts his shoulder into the contact as he so often has, to good effect for Isipathana. Naveed Tahir.
Release.
And in the pocket is Tenuka Di Costa. Was taken back, so it will go all the way back for out on the full. This is exactly what happened on the last occasion as well to Isipathana.
With an opportunity, St. Thomas's. How great would it be for them to get a score here with one man down on the park, Shanaka, and to create a 9-point gap at least against Isipathana.
In, blue.
An important line out here.
Well, they've got to keep it close, don't they, St. Thomas's, especially with Vaniga Surya off. Tinitha Durangara will feel that he might be able to, in fact, it's Abdul Ahmed, will feel that he's able to attack this line out, but the younger Vaniga Surya does as well as the elder. And smashing that one up was Aman Imran. And this is the type
No, release, clear
time
release, hands
that
on
they
the
want
ground.
to see the ball
Hands on
in
the
the
ground.
hands of Mikhail Karunaratne.
No, release.
It's untidy breakdowns which St. Thomas's will want to avoid.
Back.
Isipathana's fringe defense
Back.
will be tested, sorely tested.
Feet again, try again, feet again.
With a nice shoulder in there. Still going. Arya Vansa, another good carry. Mikhail Karunaratne will need some support. Finally gets it. 7-man St. Thomas's forward pack will be desperate not to allow Isipathana back into the game any further than they already have. Arya Vansa.
Last foot, go back.
Will they think of a drop kick? Akit Kure. We haven't seen his mazy runs today. Now would be a great time for him to bring one.
Backwards.
Backwards is the call. Udan Bulak Singalage. Nicely picked up that time by the supporting
Advantage.
Thomian player, and it looks like there was an error at the breakdown, but Mikhail Karunaratne will barge his way towards the line. Seresh Kalyana Gunawardana, another high tackle is the call, so a new penalty advantage. And looks like they've gotten over. The Thomians held their nerve and managed to smash their way through this green wall. And despite having Vanika Surya in the bin, the forwards have come to party.
St. Thomas's College, we just talked about how much it would mean for them to get a score here with one man down on the park, and that's exactly what they do. I would wonder whether that is the game, Shanaka, with 10 minutes to go. Isipathana, they'll have to score twice now.
Well, it's been a Saturday of chalked off tries. So about 3 of them being disallowed in the All Blacks versus France game. That's the advantage that Senesh Kalyana high tackle. And then from the far side of the ruck, as we're looking at it now, Tiesha Alavihara jumps right over and uses his long body to good effect to make the score. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that one, Laksisi. It looks like another Amana Bank try for Tiesha Alavihara. It's a crucial 2-pointer just to get 11 points into the lead and extend that lead into double figures. Mayank Dias, an important kick. He hasn't missed one so far.
20 seconds more.
And he does this time. I'm sure Thomian supporters across the world telling me to keep my big mouth shut. But the supporters, once again, allowing themselves a half smile. 10 minutes to go, Laksisi. Will we see a dramatic comeback from Isipathana, or will St. Thomas's be able to keep them out?
The big question is whether Isipathana do have enough gas left in the tank to make that sort of a comeback here, Shanaka. Here's the restart.
Avishka Hiran has been fighting, not a lone battle, but he has been the Pericles of this Isipathana battleground. Avishka Pereira, I haven't seen him enough with ball in hand. It was Sandeepa's little step on him that he won't want to watch the replay of. Allowed Isipathana in for that try. And both teams have had a really good line out today when it's been on their ball. So good that the defenders haven't really had much of an option, and yes, jumping straight across was Shalin Vanika Surya there. And Dodangoda looks like he's cramping up as well. So just on the 22-meter mark, Isipathana's driving maul has worked well for them. And their crowd and their coach, Danushka Boteju, these two coaches know each other really well. Laksisi, they played together in very close quarters. Botta, the tight head prop for Isipathana, and Anuranga Valpola, the number 8 and hooker, both for CR, Isipathana and Sri Lanka. So they know what each other is thinking for sure. Big driving maul from Isipathana, but it goes to the floor without Thomian intervention. They're just inside the 22. Rajapaksa with one of those trademark runs, just taking enough defenders with him. Fizzing it across for Thenuka de Costa, Aditya Madhushan. Avishka Hiran, the pass is not an accurate one. Oh, that's a first mistake from Avishka Hiran. At pace, just couldn't get it in front of Jayavira.
Isipathana not being able to make use of that little opportunity. Now is that the game going away from them as well? 7 minutes to go on our clock.
So this is where the Thomian line-out will be tested. Abdul Ahmed is the man who's entrusted with defending it. Ian Pereira knows he's not got his first choice jumper, so you can see the tension written on his face, the nervousness. He knows that this is not one that you can afford to let go. Abdul Ahmed with the big front rowers, Mevnaka and Tahir. Jehan Manigasuriya is back. That will be a relief for the Thomians. Goes to the back. Beautifully thrown by Ian Pereira, who has been brilliant today. And Sitil stepping into the field of play. Just creating an angle for Udan Bulatsingalage. It's not in touch. And the chase has to be good now for the Thomians. But Avishka Hiran has plenty of time to give it to the danger man. But unfortunately, that's a second inaccurate pass. Nimantha Sandeepa knows that that's not the kind of play that he's used to from his senior man. Sandeep and Dias having a little bit of a disagreement as to who should get the ball, and Dias decides to walk away from it.
I believe that actually sums up the game for Isipathana. Two errors back-to-back, two crucial errors, Shanaka. And it's from the man who played so well throughout the first 60 minutes of the game.
Well, sports is a great leveler, isn't it? Laksisi, as Isipathana come away with that one through Situpa Bomet. Nice ball presentation, good side entry is the call. And Venuka Vikramasuriya has no hesitation.
Number 12.
Even before referee Abekun had his arm up, Vikramasuriya had his arm up, and Mayanka Dias will step up. The dying moments of these games with some tired legs, I'm sure, to try and extend the lead for the Thomians.
St. Thomas's, they know the importance of all these points, Shanaka, because they will carry them forward going into the next game. For Isipathana as well, the game might be out of reach for them, but another try will give them both the bonus points. So a lot at stake in the next 5 minutes of the game for both the sides. Can Dias kick this through? Can he add 3 more points?
Well, it's a 9-point gap at the moment. They were looking for it to be 12, the Thomians. Anuranga Valpola. It's been a difficult week for him, as we saw him on the touchlines there. Our condolences to the Thomian coach on the loss of his mother. Aliagoda going to the touchlines early on in the game, replaced by Akbar.
Number 9 off. Ireng enne pa. Ireng enne pa.
It would be a 22 dropout.
Sixth.
5 minutes and a
Time
couple of
back one.
seconds left on the clock. Avishka Hiran. Expectant. Anticipation.
All away.
Tension.
Back,
Can
last ball.
cut it with a knife here at big club grounds. Mikhail Karunaratne puts the big fend in. Hanging on for dear life that time was Damsar Vitarana. And Ayan Pereira making the most of the start. Aman Imran.
Release it.
Competition for places in the front row of this Thomian forward pack. Sithil Pereira with another big charge. Vikramasuriya. It's quick ball for Arya Vansa, who has been excellent today. Over that ball nicely is Aditya Madhushan, but he didn't survive the clean out. Akit Kure now injecting himself into the line. Lovely offload for Udan Bulatsingalage. Bulatsingalage puts the fend in. Still going. Into 22, he drags his team.
Play on.
Nice presentation.
Offside.
And offside is the call.
Number 5.
Abdul Ahmed and Venuka Vikramasuriya once again takes it from the long mark. They will go to the line out, the Thomians.
St. Thomas is
Hurry up.
sensing.
Hurry up.
There's another try just around the corner here, Shanaka.
Hurry up.
To make it
10 seconds
completely
more.
out of reach for Isipathana, even that bonus point that they're looking for maybe.
Isipathana will be desperate to get at least a losing bonus point in this game. If they can't get their 4 tries, Laksisi, they would desperately have wanted 2 bonus points from this match to take into the next round. Certainly not all over for them. Manika Surya beautifully stolen by Tinetta Dodangoda. Isipathana fans will ask, where has that been all week? All match rather. And the steal from the captain gives his team another opportunity to get back and close the gap. Iran with an almost 35-meter gain.
Shanaka, I believe Tinetha Dodangula not being able to perform up to the level he has been performing throughout the season is one of the reasons why the scoreline is this at the moment, 33 points to 24. St. Thomas is nullifying that part beautifully.
Here we go with some nice crisp passing. Shakib Zumri. Lovely offload to Jayavira. And the penalty is coming. That's a really important steal over the ball. Let's see who it was. Jayavira isolated, but Thomas is getting over that ball beautifully.
Shanaka with around 2 minutes to go on our clock, maybe a minute more after that. We need to talk about the Swiss Tech perfect player of the match. What are your picks to get that?
Well, it's been such a really good performance from the entire front 5 of this Thomian pack. It would be very, very unfair to single one of them out.
Mark here.
But for the dominance in the line-out, Laksisi,
15 seconds.
I feel that Ayan Pereira, who scored a try as well and assisted another one, and for his throwing, which was really consistent, even though Sithil, Arya Vansa with his carrying,
30
and
seconds
the
more.
Surya brothers have all been good. Probably go for Ayan Pereira as Zaidan Akbar lines up a long, long range penalty. Will not have the legs. He's probably aiming for his father, Sammy, who is just behind the goal posts. But it won't matter, as the Thomians will have the line out.
Isipathana probably
1 minute
one
more,
last
minute
chance
more.
if they
1
can
minute more.
turn this line out around to maybe get those 2 bonus points going into the second round. It's fair to say St. Thomas's now they have registered the win. They will win the first ever Swiss to have trophy encounter between these 2 schools.
Really a horrible task to have to pick one player from the Thomian pack as a Swiss Tech perfect player of the game. Vanigasuriya has done his job beautifully. Fortunately, had to go to the bin. Makar Karunaratne hasn't carried too much, but when he has, it has mattered.
Wait, out.
And the Vanigasuriya brothers, both of them have been excellent in the loose, as have the props. It's nice work at the front of the line out. Pereira and his captain combining. Flying in to clear that ruck was Venuka Wickramasuriya, and he'll now latch on as well. Looks like he's a closet forward, the Thomian skipper.
Release!
So it's a happy day for his dad, Wickramasuriya Senior, because Trinity are leading at Pallakale, and his son most likely will be the first man to put his hands on the Rizvi Suhaib trophy, which these two teams are playing for today for the first time.
St. Thomas's College building face by face for another try here. The scoreline be a lot better for them if it can be rated as 40-24 against Isipathana, the knockout champions. We need to mention about that little glare coming in as well, Shanaka, with the situation off the ground, with the place the camera is situated. The sunlight is falling directly on the camera, so that's why the pictures are not that good from that angle.
Again, another deliberate knock-on. It's been a game full of those.
High tackle, number 37.
Surely they need to tap and run now that the game is almost won.
So again, opting to go for the 3 points, most probably the last play of the game. St. Thomas's with a win to remember here at the big club grounds.
20 seconds more.
And the thing that will hurt Isipathana the most, Shanaka, is the fact that St. Thomas's will go in with all the 6 points and they won't have a single point in that second round.
Time over.
Well, that's the game. And after a bit of a scare in the third quarter of this game, St. Thomas's do what they need to do to hold their nerve and keep the green machine at bay. Never to die wondering, Isipathana stormed back into that game, came within 1 score, came within 4 points after that. But St. Thomas's showing that they have learned the lessons from the first half of the season and turned the screws. A good team performance, and especially by the forward pack, Udan Bulat Singalage as well, really keeping Isipathana at bay with those booming touch kicks and general play kicks. Senesh Kalyana Gunawardana with the first try of the game as well to give the Thomians confidence that they could win this game against a bogey opponent.
A well-deserved win for St. Thomas's, Shanaka. They came so close twice last year to beat Isipathana, but this year they came more prepared. They made sure they got the better of Isipathana in all the areas that they were better than the other teams in this tournament. And St. Thomas's, look at the emotions. Well-deserved win for these boys from the school by the sea. What a moment for them.
Well, this is a moment they will remember for the rest of their lives. Udan Bulat Singalage leading the cry of THORA there. And it's not a scalp that St. Thomas's are used to getting very often, Laksisi. Like I told you, 16 years ago, the last time that they beat this opponent. A heartbreaking loss in the 1996 Knockout Trophy final as well, which they avenged in 2009. But since then, it has been a real grind for the blue and black against the green. But this has been a comprehensive win. But Isipathana with Avishka Hiran refusing to go away, dragged his team by the scruff of the neck to within 4 points. But the power and explosiveness of that Thomian pack just too much in the dying moments of the game.
So that's the end of the first round, Shanaka. We will have a break next weekend. There won't be any matches from the top division. But after that, we will have 4 more weeks. For Isipathana, They're still not out of reach because there's a lot of rugby to be played in that second round. Can't forget the likes of Wesley, Trinity, Royal, St. Peter's, who will join these two teams in that second round. So a lot of rugby to be played for all the 6 teams in that cup segment and also in the plate segment as well. A lot of promising sides. St. Joseph's College, the Kingswood College, who have been really good throughout this season. Sri Sumangala College in that plate segment as well. Sahira, who managed to book their place in the plate segment. And the fight for the ball will be really, really good as well. Because all the 18 teams, as you mentioned, that gap has closed down between the teams in the top and the bottom. So a lot of high-class, high-octane games coming your way in the 4 weeks of round 2.
Well, regardless of what the results of those games are going to be, the closeness, the intensity is going to be fantastic. As you can see, the blue and black legion thronging the grounds, the electronic scoreboard at this big club's grounds. The pride and joy is the clock up there, which is in between the proudly waving flags of both Isipathana and St. Thomas's. Isipathana graciously accepting the invitation of the Thomian administrators to play this game for the Rizvi Suhaib trophy. Rizvi Suhaib, if you don't know already, the captain of the first unbeaten side for St. Thomas's in the recent past in 1989, led the way, paved the way for 2 more unbeaten seasons, and you can see what this means to the team. Anuranga Valpola hoisted atop the shoulders. It'll be a bittersweet week for him because this is a fantastic scalp against his old school as well. But in a week that he's had to say goodbye to his beloved mother, he will feel mixed emotions, Laksisi.
Yes, indeed, Shanaka has worked so hard with the St. Thomas's College boys, and this is an accolade that he really deserves, him and all the coaching staff involved. Getting the better of the knockout champions, the first team to beat them this season. A huge achievement for them, but from this moment onwards, to be honest, they need to put that behind and think about Wesley, Royal, St. Peter's and Trinity, because that's the end game for St. Thomas's to go all the way this season, because this team, they can certainly do that.
Well, this sets up that second round nicely. This will inspire a lot of junior players, I can tell you, at St. Thomas's, who've been struggling to bring players into the mix, to bring them into the fold, into the rugby culture. And this win will really promote rugby at St. Thomas's. Some of Rizvi Suhaib's teammates there, Johnny Martinstein, front row forward, congratulating the teams. He's coached a lot of these players to this position they are in now at junior rugby. Cross over to the presentation.
further progress into this competition. So we will get into this presentation ceremony. There's not much of a presentation, but let's not forget there was something bigger than the game of rugby on the agenda today, and that is of course commemorating the life and times of a legend of the game of rugby, particularly from the decade of the 80s, and that is of course the life and times of the legendary Rugby Suhaib. I'd like for you to once again put your hands together for the great Colombian triple-colored Rugby Suhaib. I'd like to introduce to you, of course, our presentation party, our chief guest for this evening, Mrs. Rohaya Suhaib. We are joined, of course, by the principal of Isipathana College, Mr. Darshana Udawat, and of course, the acting warden of St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia, Mr. Asanka Pereira as well. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said at the beginning, as I said at the outset, there isn't much of a presentation ceremony other than, of course, inviting the captain of St. Thomas's College. Young man, come forward and collect the inaugural Rugby Suhaib Trophy. I'll also invite the rest of the team to come over for this very, very special celebratory moment. Rugby Suhaib's mom is also here for this very, very special celebratory moment.
St. Thomas's College lifting the trophy in this first ever encounter for the Rugby Suhaib Trophy. A well-deserved win for the boys from the school by the sea. It was not just a win, it was a commanding win, Shanaka, 36 points to 24, and this sets up a great platform for these boys for that second round.
Really does. Veruka Vikramasuriya and his team are beside themselves. They desperately needed that win. 5 tries they scored and got their bonus point. Mayanka Das with one difficult conversion missed and a couple of penalties late on in the game. But Isipathana didn't go away. They kept coming back and coming back and coming back. 3 tries, 3 of them converted by Avishka Hiran, and 1 penalty to bring them the closest they were in this game with 4 points a difference. But St. Thomas is pulling away. And Ayan Pereira by a hair's breadth from the rest of his forwards. A superb performance also from T.S. Yaluihara in the loose, alongside the rest of the St. Thomas's forward pack. And the coconut trees will look down over the inaugural award as we look forward also on ThePapare.com to Science College taking on St. Anthony's College in Group 1A, which is a battle for the wooden spoon. And although Dilruwan Pereira is going great guns on the leaderboard, his team is not doing as well as they would have liked. But that will also be online for you tomorrow on Sri Lanka's #1 sports channel. Thank you very much for joining us for this coverage, Laksisi. And I bid you a very good evening. And from the Papare production crew, it's until tomorrow's game and the second round.
එක පැත්තකින් වහගෙන ඉඳි තව පැත්තකින් මතුවෙනවා. මේ ටයිල් එක බෑ. දෙක තුනක් කැඩිලත් එක්ක. චමරි අක්කා.
ජීවිත කාලය පුරාම අල්ලන් ඉන්න නම් ටයිල් අල්ලන්න ඕන ස්විස්ටෙක් ටයිල් ඇඩිසිව්.
ස්විස්ටෙක් ටයිල් ඇඩිසිව් අල්ලන්න හොඳම කෙනා.
මේ දිනවල ඇතිවිය හැකි අසනීප තත්ත්වයන් වලින් ආරක්ෂා වීම සඳහා ප්‍රතිශක්තිය වර්ධනය කර නිරෝගීමත් දවසක් සඳහා සමහන් පානය කරන්න. සෙමදා සමහන් සෙමදා සුවෙන්.
Hello everyone, Shahid Zumri here. DTV Schools Rugby League සලංගන හැමෝටම සුබපතනවා. All the very best. Good luck.
සමදා සමහන් සමදා සුවෙන්.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
ඉන්ජෙක්ෂන් එක. බයද? ඒවටත් බෙහෙත් අපි ළඟ තියෙනවා. ඉඳගන්න.
උස්වත්ත පවුලින් හඳුන්වා දෙන රස ඇබ්බැහිය. චර්පි චිප්ස්. රිදෙන්න දැනෙන රස.
තව ඉන්ජෙක්ෂන් එකක් ගහමුද?
Creamy richness redefined. Smooth, soft, spreadable. Introducing Fondre with canola and sunflower oil.
The road is yours.
German engineered tires for Sri Lankan roads. Seat car radials. The road is yours.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Love Rugby.
Live Rugby.
Prima Kotumi. Fun Tamari.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
Maliban lemon puff puff, lemon puff, Maliban lemon puff. හැමසිතක්ම පිබිදේ, රස lemon රසයේ, ජීවිතයම මිහිරයි. Maliban lemon puff puff, lemon puff, Maliban lemon puff, Maliban lemon puff, chill when lemon. නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
දවසම ෆ්‍රෙෂ් වෙන්න. O3 Spirit and Freedom Perfumed Body Spray.
Hi, I'm Heshan Jensen. 2025 school rugby season එකට සහභාගී වෙන හැමෝටම සුබ පතනවා. All the very best.
Whose fault is this? Looks like someone didn't use Tokyo Superset for bricklaying and plastering. Tokyo Superset. Do it right the first time.
වතුරත් ලීක් වෙලා. ස්ලැබ් එකත් ඉවරයි. බලන්නකො දැන් සාලේ කැත. චමරි.
ස්විස්ටෙක් ඇක්වාෂීල්ඩ් 2K waterproof දැම්මා නම් වතුර කාන්දු වෙන්නෙත් නැහැ. හිතටත් නිදහස්.
ස්විස්ටෙක් ඇක්වාෂීල්ඩ් 2K waterproofer සීල් කරන්න හොඳම කෙනා.
Keep sweating. Keep pushing the limits. Keep stepping up your game. Keep shining. Keep rising. No matter what your fitness goal is, we are always there by you, with you. Iodex. Get. Spray. Go.
The road is yours.
German engineered tires for Sri Lankan roads. Seat car radials. The road is yours.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
කොහෙන් හරි කමන්නේ ෆොටෝ එක තිබ්බනම් මට මේ බිත්තියේ කැත වහගන්න තිබ්බා.
චමරි අක්කා.
පිටියට ස්විස්